We've all been there, right? You know you should be doing something, exercising, eating better, maybe finally tackling that monster of an inbox. But when it comes down to it, the couch and your favorite show are just so much more appealing. Sticking with good habits can feel like a constant uphill battle. But what if there was a way to make it easier? A lot easier. What if you could actually use your guilty pleasures, the things you already love doing, to power through the habits you know you need to build? It honestly sounds like a cheat code for your brain. And you know what? In a way, it kinda is. To really see this in action, let's look at a case study. It comes from a student who came up with a brilliant solution to a very, very modern problem: choosing Netflix over the stationary bike.
So this is Ronan Byrne. He was an engineering student over in Dublin, and he had a classic dilemma. He absolutely loved binge-watching shows on Netflix, but he also knew his fitness was taking a major hit because of it. Sound familiar to anyone?
But instead of just trying to force himself with willpower, which we all know rarely works, he used his engineering brain. He physically wired his stationary bike to his laptop and coded a little program to make them talk to each other. And here is the absolute genius of it. His program had one simple rule. Netflix would only play if he was pedaling above a certain speed. The second he started to slow down, boom, the show would pause. The only way to find out what happened next in the episode was to get back to pedaling. No workout, no show. Simple as that. And people who saw this invention, they totally got it. They were blown away. As one fan perfectly put it, he was eliminating obesity one Netflix binge at a time. He no longer had to choose between being entertained and exercising. He'd brilliantly fuse them into one single activity.
Now, Ronan's Netflix bike wasn't just some cool one-off invention. It's actually a perfect real-world example of a powerful psychological strategy. It's called temptation bundling. So what is it exactly? And why does it work so well?
At its heart, temptation bundling is incredibly simple. You take an action you want to do, a guilty pleasure, something you really enjoy, and you link it directly to an action you need to do but have been putting off. That want becomes the instant reward for finally doing the need. So just think about your own life for a second. In one column, you have all the things you want to do, right? Listening to that favorite podcast, catching up on reality TV, maybe getting a pedicure. And in the other column, you have the things you need to do. Go for that run, sort through work emails, fold the laundry. The magic of temptation bundling is that you only allow yourself to enjoy the want while you're doing the need.
And believe me, this isn't just some small self-help trick. Some of the biggest companies in the world are absolute masters of temptation bundling. They use it to shape our habits as consumers all the time.
A perfect example of this, ABC's Thursday night TV lineup. They didn't just promote their shows, they promoted an entire evening ritual. They called it TGIT, Thank God It's Thursday. And they actively encouraged viewers to bundle the action they needed, you watching their shows, with activities people already wanted to do, like kicking back, drinking some red wine, and eating popcorn. They bundled their product with the feeling of relaxation itself. Genius, right? So why is this strategy so darn effective? It feels almost too simple. Well, it's because it taps into a really fundamental principle of how our brains are wired. This isn't just clever marketing. There's real science behind why this habit hack is so powerful. It's something called Premack's principle. Okay, it's a fancy name, but the idea is actually super straightforward. It says that a more probable behavior, so something you're very likely to do anyway, like watching Netflix, can be used to reinforce a less probable behavior, like, say, riding a stationary bike. You're basically willing to do the hard thing because it's the only way to get to the fun thing.
Okay, so we've seen the case study, we get the science behind it. Now for the fun part. Let's get really practical and break down the exact formula you can use to build these bundles in your own life.
Now, to really put this on steroids, the best approach combines temptation bundling with another cool strategy called habit stacking. All habit stacking means is linking your new habit to a habit you already do every single day without thinking, like making your morning coffee. It all comes down to this simple two-step formula. Step 1 is the habit stack. After my current habit, I will do the habit I need. Step 2 is the temptation bundle. After I do the habit I need, I will get to do the habit I want. This creates this amazing, powerful, and rewarding little loop for your brain. All right, let's make this crystal clear. We're going to run through a few real-world examples so you can see just how flexible and effective this simple little formula can be.
Okay, first up, Let's say you love scrolling through the news first thing in the morning. That's your want. But you've also been meaning to start a gratitude practice. That's the need. How do you bundle these?
Easy. Using the formula, it looks like this. Step 1. After my morning coffee, there's my current habit, I will say one thing I'm grateful for. That's the need. Step 2. After I say that one thing, then I will read the news. The news becomes the prize for your moment of gratitude.
What about something for work? Maybe you love checking ESPN for the latest sports scores. That's the want. But you really need to be making more of those dreaded cold calls for your job. That's the need.
Here's the bundle. Step 1. After I get back from my lunch break, I will call 3 potential clients. Step 2. After I've made those 3 calls, I get my reward. I can check ESPN. Before you know it, you might actually start to look forward to those calls because you know what's waiting for you on the other side. And for our last one, an example that pretty much every single one of us can relate to. That unstoppable urge to check social media, that is a big want. Versus the constant feeling that we need to squeeze in more exercise. Now this one is a real game changer. Step 1. After I pull out my phone, which is a habit you probably do dozens of times a day, I will do 10 burpees. That's the need. Step 2. After I do those 10 burpees, then I will check Facebook. You're literally turning your biggest distraction into a fitness cue. Just imagine doing that 5 or 6 times a day. You've suddenly added a whole workout to your routine without even trying.
You see, over time, the hope is that you actually start to look forward to that need habit because your brain starts to associate it so strongly with the reward that follows. The thing you used to hate becomes kind of attractive. So now it's your turn. Just take a second and think, what's the first habit you're going to bundle?